Chapter 16. Hey You, Oliver. I turned my head to look up land. Cricket had come out of nowhere. Though expecting her, I was still surprised. She put her hand on my back as I stood at the water's edge, continuing to watch the horizon. Hey you, she said. Nice morning because of the snow. It's going to be 60 today. 60, I nodded, and turned to face her. She hugged me, as is her way. I was just thinking, I told her. High time you started. High tide, yep, coming soon, I agreed, hearing her wrong, watching the water come in. Pretty soon, fishes of all sorts will be moving through here, began Cricket, feeding as they've always done. Crabs, sea nettles, oysters, gulls, geese, barnacles, the list goes on. We stood there, feet firmly on the ground. No matter the discord in days or the sadness in life, we were staying put. We looked across the limitless creek, Cricket and I, having been drawn to the edge, the quiet and underlying life at the shore. Beneath us the ground spun, increasing the light of day, giving the appearance that now there was room for our spoken words, whereas before, in the dark, it was better to keep inward. I noticed a plastic soda bottle, red label, half filled with creek water. I'd not seen this before. It's never the same beach, I wanted to say. Every day it is a different ongoing place, reshaped by wind and waves. Still, here we are, one place at a time, trying to get an overall sense. I looked out, wanting to say what I saw, but instead I kept my observations private. I saw that optimistic bottle, I saw the horizon which represented mystery. It represented my mother, death, some further life I could know. The horizon longed for the nearness of my footsteps, my understanding. And I could get there. We all could. I looked out and wanted to say that I am compelled by the otherness out there, supersensory as it is, superfine like sandpaper, so smooth you feel neither sand nor paper when you put forth your hand. Which is not to say it is another, better world out there. It is simply a reckoning of this world, known in its fullness. It is the intention of life in all its becoming. Ours is a woven world, built of atoms and ideas, mud and promise, together with as much receptivity as we can muster. The weave of the world is matter and spirit both, part wild, part secure, part worldly grief, part sacred gift. It is all the things I had been thinking. A world I can witness no matter the many cloaks of invisibility being used. A world to be trusted, no matter all the wary doves and skeptical folk. A world as I welcome to love. And I wanted to say this as I looked out, to Cricket beside me, because of the early light. Because of that soda bottle, because of our mother and all that she had contributed to the well-being of our world. So what was wrong that I did not speak up, sharing my thoughts in this bright and opening space? These were things, hard things, in a language I was still learning to speak. She's not dead yet, you know. Cricket's voice interrupted my meditation. I know, I said. She's awake. I nodded. I told her you were coming. Anika is there, Fan. You haven't met Fan. And Eli with Alpha and Leah. I hear them in the kitchen, I said, talking. Alpha and Leah? No, Mama and Papa, like they used to. Oh, said Cricket. So, Eli's there? Well, you know it's Good Friday, no school today. I'm sorry I didn't come earlier, I said. You never know for sure when a hard thing, will happen, and you have to deal with it. Cricket said this to make me feel better. Could have been another time, could have been August. What did you know? Well, that's just it. I did nothing, didn't even try to know. You're doing all the work. Work, she scoffed. It's not work. It was April 3rd on the Maryland shore. That's what it was. Far away, the Atlantic Ocean stirred and quickened. The waters warmed, and currents woke the deep life out there. Pretty soon, as Cricket had mentioned, there would be baby fish everywhere. The tide moved in, bringing change. But first, there were things my soul needed to align with. Work. It's not work. I knew what she had meant by that. It was no hardship to care for our mother. The opposite, really, of toil and trouble. One more look, and we left the marsh without another word. Cricket had walked there, over a mile from the house. Back at my car, I noticed in the new light some blooming daffodils. I picked one and handed it to my sister. Forgot to bring you something, I said. Anything else you're forgetting? She asked. I had not told her about Theo coming with me, about how I still made room for him, made quiet space. Years now, and how was anything different? She would have wanted to hear how I tried to help him understand the act of moving existence along from one thing to another. Life takes shape in each of us through transformative experiences across lifetimes. It was a perspective of reincarnation that grew in me that Cricket would have welcomed. It was also a perspective no skeptic would likely see. It was on my mind, though, at the car with my sister, as it had been when stooped by myself at the shore. I hoped to reach with my imagination beyond the limits of birth on the one side, death on the other. We catch a thought, same as we catch a wave, when it is our turn. We hold it for a moment, ride along, moved by it. Then, tumbled and shaken, we rise from tumult. And often, if we look around, we have gotten somewhere new. That is the root of progressive thinking. But maybe Cricket knew all of that. Nothing I can think of, I said, responding to her question about forgetting. Cricket, I could tell, was annoyed with me for keeping things to myself. Papa is lost, she told me. Mama has refused to eat for a week now. You said that on the phone. I saw an owl, my sister began, 3 nights ago. Then, the night I called you, I was dozing in the room and had a dream. It was an owl, well, not just an owl, but that was the most of it. A big white one. It swooped over me and I woke up. Is that when you called? An owl is a bird of transformation, said Cricket. Anika and I were talking. She's part muskogee. My friend Marcel, I told Cricket, when his mother died, he said it was as if a butterfly was bursting from its chrysalis. I love butterflies, said Cricket, but I hate death. Which we all knew, everyone knew. Thing is, she went on, Mama loves periwinkle. Vinca. It's at the front of the house. In the right environments, it takes over everything. A bit like cancer. It's a nice flower, I said. Think how long she has managed, said Cricket. Since she was like 14. She's had to manage an unhappy situation. You mean her father. And then Uncle Theo. I'd never been able to do it. You don't know what you're capable of. Not that, she said. Papa's kept her distracted with affection and growing his trees everywhere. He began playing the banjo again. It was a New Year's resolution. I remember that banjo. Mama was telling me how her father loved trees, too. I nodded, knowing it. Us also, I guess. Well, he didn't ever know us. No, I mean, we probably distracted her when we were growing. Well, we're still growing, I said. I know, but when we were younger. Right, I said. What about Grandma Nell, though? She lost a husband and a child, and now... She's like you, said Cricket. She knows how to survive without showing it. You should talk to her sometime. I felt bad for missing out on my grandmother's story. Now her dementia would make it difficult. Unhelpful things grow on us when we're out of sorts, said Cricket. I don't mean just Mama and her cancer. I mean the whole earth, too. We need balance to be healthy, I said. Managing the walk so as not to be overtaken by... What walk? Through our days, I said. The best mode of transportation is inner strength. Inner strength, repeated Cricket. Mama has always been strong, heart strong. Well, it's no judgment on her to be dying of cancer, I said. I didn't think it was, said Cricket, only that it's just so... It's so unfair. I gathered a bouquet of April weeds, knowing that Mama would like them better than the daffodils, and we got into my car. Cricket and I up front, Theo in the back, with the wild young greens. It didn't take long till we arrived home. The sky sung light, light sprung from the fields and trees, soft as rabbit ears, sweet as meringue. No snow on the ground, but yes, the memory of snow. White blossoms on the pear trees, Cricket's and mine. Hers, the more beautiful. Though if I think about it, why does beauty need a determiner? The front door of my parents' house, blue as always, opened without me touching it. I'm just saying. I walked slightly ahead of my sister, and the door swung inward of its own volition. Now, I'm telling you, that was a fine welcome. Cricket went to the kitchen to be with Eli and her children, and I, holding grasses, went to the room where my mother and father were. When I entered, Papa stood. He took the spring bouquet, knowing that they were, in fact, not weeds, and that they were meant for Mama. He put the April greens in a glass of water, and returned to hug me. Papa and Cricket are the family's best huggers. He smelled of Earl Grey tea and restlessness. I knew he had paced all over that room, stately as always, never hunching. I could see the tracings on the wood floor, the worn path of his back and forth love between the bed and the window. He had also likely walked miles around the house, through the woods, down the road to the nursery, to town and back, and upon the mud flats with Mama in mind. In their time together, Mama and Papa have done a lot of walking, much of it together. The two of them were committed to their joint travels and twined as they went, eye in eye, like twisting trunks of two separate trees. interwoven worlds, his and hers. And maybe my picture is idealistic. I get it that nothing so perfect is 100% accurate. I've observed from the edge how difficult it is to be married, to accept an independent being into yourself, to mesh full on without contention. But the value of my parents' lives together is seen in the increased illumination they gave to each other's pre-existing light. And what set their souls aflame is measured by the irreducible joy they each received at the other's successes. If that is an idealistic marriage, then I am all for it. Their ideals served them well. Maybe it is not such a bad thing, aiming high and encouraging the heart to follow. Papa and I sat beside the bed. Mama, who had watched us hug, seemed to take me in. I felt bad how far gone she was, her body weak, her labored breathing. It had made no difference how much I had tried to breathe with her at the creek. She was the one in charge of her life, and no matter my efforts in the room to speak with her spirit, death took over with its corporeal ways and mortal stance. Sometimes all that matters is what's going on in the room, the erratic measure of each breath, the shaded figure leaning against the wall. And I don't say it to be mean, but death was the most unempathetic of visitors, just stood there, distant, the other side of the bed, didn't even bow or nod, didn't offer to shake hands, not even the hint of an offer, and I, for one, would have been willing. But death did not shift, just bided his time, patiently planning his exit with my mother. So I asked. I had to do something to acknowledge the awkward situation. I proposed that death leave us alone for a bit, not with any malice, but firmly, pleasantly, with my inside voice. "Do you mind?" I said. "Not going to make any difference." "You're overwhelming, standing like that," I said. "Aren't you tired?" "Tired? Me?" "Get some fresh air, why don't you?" I said. "Sun's out. It's getting warm." Seemingly good-natured, Death stepped out. I thought it kind, and everything softened. Mama's breathing became more regular, and her face got some color back. Even Papa noticed the improvement. She smiled and tried to sit up, but didn't get far. Cricket came in, and we hung out as a family. Theo, too. I brushed the hair off Mama's face. Her lips were dry and cracked, so I dabbed them with water. I saw her latest notebook on the bedside table, words I would sometime read, lists and lyrics, and the latest on her life. Maybe tonight, if possible. Or after she is gone, I thought. It could be hours. It could be days. "Hours, days," said Mama through her dry lips, her liquid mind. Though maybe she said our days. Even though her voice was weak, it filled the room. Our days. I liked the sound of that. Our days have not always been together, but our days are forever inclusive so that we may find one another at the merest mention. Cricket and I and Papa, we pulled our chairs in, sensing it was what she wanted. And why was I here only now, last of her days, when it was so exhausting for her to talk to me? I should have been here long ago, days, weeks. Why had I waited for Cricket to call? I should have done it differently. No, sweetie, said Mamma. Nothing different, only this. How could there be anything other than this? She squeezed my hand, and I squeezed back. Is that Theo with you? She asked. I have missed him. It is, I said. I'm the one should have done it differently, she said. Done what differently? Oh, I don't really mean should. Can do it differently. Am. That's what I mean. I'm fine with it. Fine with what? I asked. Death is a good friend, really. Did she want Death back beside her again, I wondered. The room was quiet. The quiet room resounded. Death can stay away long as you like, sweetie, she said. There's cake in the fridge, unless you've eaten it already. I've almost forgotten what it's like, the taste of chocolate. And also talking like this. What's on your mind, Mamma? I asked. I whispered it, smoothed the blanket over her body. Cricket leaned in. Her hair falling down touched the bed. I could hear my father's breath. I heard it catching in his throat, in his chest, his heart. I heard him listening, and I knew he would never stop. It was such a bittersweet feeling to know that Papa would do anything for her. He would listen as long as possible. He wouldn't eat, wouldn't drink, he wouldn't leave. He'd lend his ears, his arms, the remainder of his life, as if the well-being of his wife's soul depended upon it. Of course, I've been thinking about this annoying disease, Mamma began. But why be angry, I tell myself. Without death and change, we cannot transform ourselves over lifetimes from I to us. How can you be so excited about it? Muttered Cricket. I hate thinking about death. I know, little bunny. I don't mean taking away from existence. I mean continuing to give. It doesn't matter, Mamma. But the trees are beginning to leaf out. Things change. When I is us, an understanding of togetherness rules our world. Trees leafing out, said Cricket. That only makes it worse. I don't want you to leave. That's my rule. Your family is us too, you know. Oh, little bunny, I know who you are. But what about a butterfly? You love butterflies. I don't know what you want me to say. Oh, sweetkins, a butterfly. A butterfly's a door. A door. How's a door going to make things better? A door, death, said our mother. Oh, I don't know what it is. A door made out of cherry or maple? It opens the way a flower opens, arms to welcome you, and there on the other side, unsuspected reality. This is a story I truly want to tell. Some of us don't want to hear, said Cricket. I don't want to make trouble. It's too difficult, Mamma. I know, my love. Life is hard, and it's soft, it's warm, it's cold, it's good and gracious. If the story does not suit you, you can change the story. Our mother smiled. She tried to sit up. I propped her a bit on a pillow. Thanks to our closeness, we had heard every word. Theo through my ears. He had heard through my ears. Cricket, too, though somewhat against her will. And Papa, I could see that any possible insight was stalled upon his face by the sadness there. His sadness was like the silt and muck of the marsh, difficult to get through. And who could blame anyone their feelings? Mamma lay dying who had never once died in 72 years of life. We had never seen her so frail. She had never lain about in bed much either, was always on her feet, working with her hands, cooking in the kitchen, reading in the lamplight, playing her guitar, taking pictures, planting spinach, cherry tomatoes, fixing faucets, jotting down injustices, moving with intention, practicing existence. It is not for nothing that she was here on earth, I thought. Not for nothing that she will continue to incarnate. So, yes, I've got this good story to tell, said our mother. I don't want to cry, said Cricket. You probably will, my little bunny, said Mamma. You're super-duper sensitive. And there I sat, lending my ears, my heart, nodding in agreement. A rhythmic yes.